Good Friday afternoon. We're back. We're back.
Hey.
2 weeks off. Not what we were expecting, but that's what happened. So Viktor was at KubeCon, and then he was in...
I don't know anymore.
Serbia, I think, is where you went.
Yeah.
Belgrade or something.
Exactly.
So I'm going to fix your mic real quick, I think. Oh, it was already fixed. Okay. Sounded weird to me. It's fine.
You go.
Don't worry about it. Hi, welcome back. My name's Darren. This over here is Viktor, and we are the podcast hosts of a podcast. That's usually what podcast host is, a podcast called DevOps Paradox that comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, and on Fridays, usually, we do this show. We will probably miss another couple, right? Because before end of year, because you still have one more trip to make.
I have one more trip, so the last week of November, the first
of December, whatever that is.
Something like that, second, third.
Yeah.
I'll be away.
We won't be here that day. So we'll remind everybody again. Karen, good to see you. Thanks for being here with us live. Miroslav, Samo, good day. Good day.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out live with us, guys. We greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it, because Viktor has a meeting to go to at the top of the hour, and I want to get through some of these things, because I think we'll ramble about a few things that may find... oh, wait, here we go. Detroit pizza was cool. Did you have Detroit pizza?
It was. I did. Last
and it was good, right?
It was good. I liked it, yeah.
It was different. It was just different.
Yeah, it's different, exactly.
It's different.
Exactly.
So good. I'm glad everybody enjoyed their
I liked it.
Detroit pizza.
I actually even ordered Detroit-style pizza once here in Barcelona, kind of, to remember it.
They have it in Barcelona?
Yeah, I found a restaurant called Detroit-style pizza. That's literally the name of the restaurant.
That's good. Everybody get your drinks out, because it's one of those days. Oh, man. I'm going to sort of dispense with the normal where we go through the podcast in great detail, just because we've got time. If you have not listened to this one, though, why you should start a side project. We even talked about it on Viktor's episode about KubeCon. If you haven't listened to any podcast at all this year, this is the one to go listen to with Ryan. So that's all we'll talk about with that one for right now. And then we had Viktor's wrap up of Detroit. What did you think of Detroit? Just in general, because we really didn't talk much about
city,
that.
You mean?
Just the city in general, yeah, because we really didn't talk much about that.
So the center, I liked it a lot of nice places and things like that.
Right.
Small though.
Very
but
small.
Man, when I take Uber, a couple of times I took Uber to some random location somewhere, to some place wherever there was a party, and I was like, hey, there is those 10 meters between Uber and that place. Let me hurry up.
You were being very intentional in your movements. Let's put it that way.
No, there was a scary moment that I got on a message kind of, hey, come to this place. We're going to have a party. And I got to that place. And I did not see it in the message that actually the place changed.
Whoops.
Because the place where the initial address was place that was closed. And I get there with Uber and I look at the place, closed. And the Uber driver says, okay, unless you really, really insist, I'm not letting you off here. Like, tell me some other address to take you. I don't want you to. I don't want to have it kind of on my conscience that I left you here. Kind of like.
Yeah. That was a
I'm
very
sorry
good
if I'm
Uber driver.
offending any Detroitans or whatever the name.
That's close enough. I don't know what it actually is. And then this week's episode was about reducing cloud costs. We were talking with Jason from Tenacity, and we got into some interesting conversations around not just the normal, the cloud provider isn't going to give you your best discounts, even though that's not really what Tenacity does. It's just finding the things that matter, like public S3 buckets, public databases, endpoints, and a lot more around that. So what can you say?
I mean, at the end, the way I see it is, everybody moved or is moving to cloud. There's now it's similar like giving kids a credit card and saying, hey, here's a credit card. But restrain yourself, right? It's not going to happen. At least not with my kid.
No. And she's only getting older. So the chances of that changing are...
Yeah, but eventually it will be her credit card, so then I will not worry that much.
Yes.
Only bailouts.
Just like any good parent does.
There you go.
Now, I saw that you cheated on me again.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You were on with Ken from Postman.
Exactly. I was there. And I'm going to another one now. That's at the top of the hour. I don't have the address, though. It's somewhere.
Do we need to end 30 minutes earlier so you can find out where you're going?
No. I have the StreamYard address. No, sorry. The Restream address.
Restream address, okay.
It's
so anyway,
somewhere in YouTube.
Oh, so it's going to be live. I guess it should be.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah. So
this wasn't live, though, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kim is awesome. I love Kim. Kim is absolutely awesome.
And we had Joyce on. Huh?
Yeah, we did.
We had Joyce on a long time ago, and I'm glad you were able to get hooked up with Postman again. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
So go listen to that. I saw that come through my feed today. I was like, wait, he cheated on me again. Again.
Not the first time.
Not the first, and won't be the last. Obviously, in however many minutes there are left.
We have open marriage agreement, right?
I guess so. Don't like that idea, but that's what we got to do right now. I saw this. So since we missed 2 weeks, which was really 3 weeks of news, I'm just sort of, I got rid of some and I've pulled some in. This is one that I thought was interesting that came out at KubeCon week. Pulumi and Flux integrating. I thought this was cool. Now, obviously, you can just nod and smile, right? It's just because that's competitive to what you do in the day job.
No, I don't see it. I mean,
well, not directly competitive, but it's in the same space. Let's put it that way.
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
I never speak bad about competition or any of those things. I speak bad about bad stuff. Kind of like if I don't like something, then I'm going to trash it, and then trash it again. But Pulumi is a great tool, and Flux, I love Flux. So kudos.
So seeing those come together, this is an interesting. So I'm thinking back through. Thinking Terraform, they don't have this type of integration. Obviously, this is sort of Crossplane native, if you will, right? What they're doing here is Crossplane native-ish. Basically, you define it and Crossplane manages it, whereas Pulumi has been more of the Terraform CloudFormation, define it, apply it.
Yeah, actually, Beaverworks has an open source project, TF Controller, I think is the name. I might be wrong. Which is basically giving something similar to Terraform, right? Kind of wrap this Terraform project into this controller, and then it can run in Kubernetes, and then Flux synchronizes that between your Git repo with your cluster, and then that controller does the rest of the thing. So very cool. I like that. We are all going from different directions, but I think that we are all converging towards Kubernetes executing stuff, whatever the stuff is.
Right. And that's really what I wanted to call out in this. Is that's what I saw as somebody that doesn't spend a ton of time in Kubernetes. It was just seeing this pattern emerging that just here's the definition, let Kubernetes deal with it. And go from there.
So think of it almost like, how companies in the past, and still, of course, need to be in a way in a marketplace of sorts, like AWS marketplace or this or that, right? So that all those different projects can be integrated and consumed somehow from that platform. I think that's what we're seeing in Kubernetes. The power is not anymore that Kubernetes can execute your Pulumi stuff and Terraform stuff and whatever that is, but simply that by moving it there, then you're benefiting from all the other integrations, like Flux, right? Or whatever else you might be choosing. So I see more and more Kubernetes as an amazing integrator than anything else. I mean, there are a couple of other things you see in Kubernetes.
Of course. And specifically, this was the Pulumi+Kubernetes operator was the integration with Flux. So congrats to Joe and the team at Pulumi for getting that announced. I saw this post, and I'm a little bit all over the place today. The tools obviously will be at the end. But I was trying to get the storyline built today, and this story, I couldn't figure it out. So this is from Nicola Frankel, who we've had on the podcast before. And discuss the problem, not the solution. And how many times, I'm guilty of this, and I'm the chief among sinners on this one, is I go to solutioning from the beginning. I'm getting a little bit better as I get older, but not much. Yeah, and this is the key part, is what is the problem?
I put as much blame, or more actually, on the other side. So I worked in professional services, as you know, right? And that was such a common pattern, right? Somebody calls you to help them. Cool. And then, how can I do X? And kind of, okay, but why do you want to do X? I mean, kind of, what's the problem? No, I want to do X. And then we would spend very often hours just trying to figure out kind of like, okay, so is there something behind the desire to do this? Like, maybe X is stupid. I cannot tell you it's stupid because you're a customer.
You're paying me.
Maybe that's not the thing. Maybe that's not the best way to do stuff. So I'm fully on board. I haven't read the article, but the title, yes, please.
Yeah, everything that Nicholas, I can't remember, so if you're watching this, forgive me. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. All of the stuff that he puts out is really, everything he puts out, his posts come out on Sundays, Europe time, whatever. But it goes through ENVs and questioning, 5 whys. It's just, this is who we're talking about. Nicola Frankel, right here. I highly recommend it. And again, links for everything we're discussing today are down in the show notes, or will be at some point today or tomorrow. So anyway, discuss the problem, not the solution. I need to put this on a 3x5 card. I don't know what the right sizing is for European. What's it called? Like the index cards. What's the normal size for index cards? You don't know? Okay.
A6 maybe?
A6.
I'm guessing.
So I need to get an A6, magic hand wave, and write this title down and put it in front of me. Discuss the problem, not the solution. It's hard when you're...
In the past, I think that's a similar... I don't know who said that, and the magic number, but like 5 whys, is that? Or 4
Yeah, 5 whys. Yeah.
5 whys, exactly.
Yeah, yes.
That's probably the same direction, right?
Yeah, in fact, he even gets to it right here as well. So
yeah.
Okay. Next up, remember when we saw the Inside Kubernetes video however long ago? Now there's an Inside Prometheus.
Oh,
there is a 30-minute video about Prometheus. And not a video, a documentary, which goes beyond video. Look, we can make documentaries about anything. What's the next documentary, do you think? So we did Kubernetes. We've done Prometheus. What's going to be number 3?
I don't know, man.
Okay, we'll let that one sit and
it will
marinate
be
for a while.
one of the graduated CNCF projects.
Yeah.
But I must say, I'm so impressed, kind of like the quality of the Kubernetes documentary and what I see here, glimpses from here. These are
amazing.
A different level, kind of like. This is like real production, kind of, documentaries that you see on
Netflix.
I don't know wherever people Netflix, exactly.
Netflix, yeah, or National Geographic. Here, in the corner of the office, we see a developer trying to figure out metrics. Okay, whatever.
Oh, you sound now like, what's that guy, Burrow or something like that, the nature guy.
Yeah.
And he's sneaking behind it.
Yeah, anyway, so and here's everybody that contributed to it. This is from Speakeasy Productions. This is the production company that did it.
Is that the same one who did Kubernetes?
The
right?
Kubernetes one, yeah. Exact same company. So anyway, let's see. Get in touch. Let's see. Can we get in touch? We can. hello@speakeasystrategies.com. There you go. Documentary films. Who was in it? We had, obviously, somebody from Grafana. Makes sense. Do you know anybody on this list?
I know
This guy.
Bartolome or Plotka. I don't know.
Yep. You know Alexis?
I know Bjorn.
Yep.
I mean, when I say I know, kind of like, we say
You've had
hello.
interactions with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I won't hang out there any longer. Anyway, Prometheus. A documentary, 30 minutes. Very interesting. Okay.
Just after I said how, I don't know, did I say that in a recording we did last time, KubeCon, post-KubeCon, kind of Victoria metrics is one of the highlights of KubeCon.
Yep. We've talked about, I think it was on your review episode. But yes. Karen got it. David Attenborough. I wish I could be
That's
like
the
David Attenborough. Man, that would be... I wish I had the voice and the pipes to be David Attenborough. But anyway. I didn't know this didn't exist. Docker Hub now supports OCI artifacts.
What's an OCI artifact? Open container image.
It's anything that... Okay, so basically, anytime you use Docker Hub in the past, it was just for images.
Exactly. No, the OCI part confuses me. So, but anyways,
Right.
It's about storing manifests and binaries and what's not. Yeah.
Right. So now what it is anything can go in to Docker Hub. So Helm charts.
So it goes into both directions, right? A while ago, we saw how, not those artifact registries that were not built for container images that started supporting container images, right? Like Artifactory and what's not, right? Now we see the other way around, kind of. If this registry can add container images, then we can add their stuff. Nice.
Yeah.
Because if you think logically, why the heck would I have 7 registries, different registries for my stuff?
Why would I have more than one?
Exactly.
Let me simplify the question. Why would we have more than one? And this is because if I'm using a container image, it's probably 50-50 that it's going to be Kubernetes or Docker Compose. Right? Or some variant of Docker Compose, whatever that might be.
Exactly.
So why would I need somewhere else to store my Helm chart? Or my Compose file that's now bundled correctly? I think it's cool. And you can...
Very cool.
So anyway, that is now on that. Okay. This is a guy I want to get on the podcast at some point. This is from Corey Quinn. If you don't know who Corey Quinn is, I try to be snarky.
If you don't know who Corey is, you've never been yelled at.
Yeah, yes. I'll just stay there. So anyway, he gets into the reason why cloud IDE adoption is lagging. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot, but he gives reasons why. Right? Just, okay, magic hand wave. Let's say that I agree with him. Okay? Just because, right? He gets into the history of Cloud9 and some of the others that were just sort of, whatever. Right?
That I haven't read the article, so I don't know his reasons. But in browser, cloud IDEs is probably my biggest failure so far. In terms that's the thing that I wanted, one of the things I wanted the most to switch to. And I tried many, many times. And eventually, every single time I went back to IDE in my laptop. And I really, really, really wanted to go there.
So, pulling the curtain back a little bit, we had somebody on the podcast from GitPod. We did the recording. It's coming out before end of year. I can't remember the exact date. So, in between these last few weeks, Gitpod raised $25 million. Series A, I believe. Yes. Series A from Tom Preston Werner, the founder of GitHub. So Gitpod got money from the person that founded GitHub. By the way, I'm using Gitpod for a project that has nothing to do with coding. I probably shouldn't say that out loud.
Really?
But it works.
Is it kind of writing markdowns? I'm guessing.
No. It's actually doing video processing.
Oh. There you go.
Because I get 50 hours free a month.
Yeah.
And I don't need 50 hours. That might be for another day. But anyway, let's take a look at a few of the other names that were thrown in here. MongoDB Ventures. Okay, good. And then I saw this. Kent Beck.
Kent Beck. Huh. It makes perfect sense because Kent Beck, among other things, is a huge proponent of pair programming, right?
Exactly. So anyway, number one, we have Corey saying cloud IDs stink through the history. And I think through history that's true. Gitpod has been only getting better. But then we had this other thing that happened this week. You may have heard of it called GitHub Universe.
Okay, yes. I did not follow. I forgot to see what was announced. I was even invited to be there, couldn't.
Yeah. By the way...
Look at this.
But, oh, you wearing it? Oh, yeah, I do see it. I see the ghost. Here, let me put you full screen here. There we go. So you've got your black on gray. Yeah, okay. Octocat. So by the way, I sort of glossed over it. Congratulations to everybody at Gitpod on your 25 round. That's great. You're buying tacos the next time we see you. I think Sebastian brings up a good point. You've done an IDE comparison, but even if you had...
No.
I thought you had.
I did a review of Gitpod and at least one or two more.
But
a few.
But it's been a while.
Not as comparison head to head. Not kind of like this versus that.
Okay.
I thought about it, to be honest, but then
it was too early.
I had moments that sometimes I was using it for days, sometimes weeks, but I always fell back to VS Code on my laptop, so I don't feel...
I get it, right? Because I still do the same thing. I mean, it was one thing for me to get rid of my JetBrains subscription, $140 a year, which wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I could justify $10 a month, but I didn't need it. And now it's like I live in VS Code, which is sort of sad. But here, let's get back here to GitHub Universe. So, again, what we see here are a couple of different things. Number one, they talk about Copilot. And now Copilot's available for business, not just individual developers or individual users. Okay, Magic Hand Wave, fine. They're also getting into the Hey business. Hey GitHub. So there's a video around this to where you see somebody programming just using Hey GitHub.
Hey GitHub.
Like Hey Siri.
Hey GitHub.
Like Hey Siri. I don't have a Siri.
My.
Or saying, I'm not going to say the A word because actually the A word controls my whole lighting in the office. So you can actually program using verbal command. But it's that verbal command. It's not that you're writing the code, but you're writing the prompt to tell Copilot to go do the thing. There's a video. I'm not sure. Let me check this real quick. By the way, this article confused the snot out of me. I'm sorry to be using such a blasphemous word there. You see these bullets? They're not bullets. They actually expand and do more things. So this is important. When you go and read this and you see the arrows, click on the arrows. I like it, but I really don't like it. I would rather have a much longer thing than knowing that I had to do anything. Okay, anyway.
I would not have figured it out.
Exactly.
Never.
Right. So then we get into collaboration. So more Copilot stuff. I'm probably not going to renew my Copilot
GitHub,
thing.
Nobody will use. I cannot imagine anybody using it because we are not yet at the level of Hey Netflix, which
right.
kind of there are so many things because when I'm programming, my hands are on a keyboard, man. Kind of like
Well, I believe the video that I
needs to pass until I start issuing commands when writing code.
The video that I saw in passing was somebody that was visually impaired. So it was more of an accessibility play than it was for somebody that's, I don't know the correct way to say it without being off, but what I will call normally abled. Like normal ears, normal eyes, normal, which is a horrible way to say it. I apologize for anybody seeing that. Can't figure out the right phrase.
But that's not what it says here. He's reducing the need of a keyboard. Kind of. But okay.
Yeah. Okay, it could, for me, it would reduce the need for a keyboard about that much. Not that much. Right? It's just whatever. Okay, but anyway, let's move on from this. We get under supercharged collaboration. And again, remember remember these things are arrows. Individual developers will now get up to 60 hours of code spaces for free. Gitpod's got 50. GitHub Codespaces has 60. And then they get into the details here, and they get into the Codespaces demo and blah, blah, blah. Again, nothing that we haven't seen before. Codespaces has been out there, but now you've got 60 hours free. But much like what we found when we talked to our Gitpod person, now it's also baked into JetBrains. I get this, right? You open up the IDE locally, but then it's actually connecting out to the world.
Yeah, that part today, my favorite combination is that remote environments, IDE local.
Yep. And there's a lot of other announcements on this page. And again, if I offended anybody by how I went about the differently abled thing, I apologize. I can't figure out the right words to say. Yeah, I'm going to go back to here. I had to change the wake word from to computer. Yes. Okay, so that is that. How are we doing time? We're still okay. I think we'll be fine. I saw this today. You've heard of Nix, right? Not Unix, but Nix. Yes. Nix. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something new, like just came out 0.1 today. I think it was today. Here, let's check. 7 hours ago. Yes, so new today. Build, share, and run your local development environments with a single command without containers. That makes me happy. No containers for me. So check this out. Here's the file I create. A little bit of environment variable, define the package. I first run it, no git. I get a little echo out, and then I see git's installed for me.
Wait, go back. What? Okay, I see now. Okay.
Right. So I have devenv shell, which took care of installing git for me. This works for Linux, works for Mac. Sorry, Windows users. Starting a development process. So in this case, I could ping something. I could start Postgres. I could compose environments. I understand YAML, but please. So you get some inputs, and then you have imports. Supporting tools of all your languages. Automatically load your environment. Think about Python for a moment. Pre-commit hooks. It's all built on top of Nix. And there's two other things that we're talking about. I went and looked at Cachix, and I took a little bit at Nix as well. But again, the new one today is devenv. I'm assuming that's how it's said.
Nice.
Again, 7 hours old, just birthed. Probably still a little nasty, still needing some wiping off. So, but it looks pretty cool. Unlike that,
I
We
like
have some-
something very cool.
Well, I'm not sure about this one. So this is called Watermelon.
Okay.
Okay. So this sort of ties in with devenv, I think. Not directly, but sort of. So I'm inside of VS Code. Right now, this is VS Code only. So if you install this plugin, then actually, let me just go to Start Now. Right now, let me zoom in here. It's a code archaeology toolbox, right? For Visual Studio Code, the free features. So there's a free and a paid. The free features are view get blame, view pull request, daily summary. Whatever daily summary is. Okay? Still good. What they don't tell you here, and they break in each of these viewing the pull requests. So you can see all that. The paid features, though, it integrates with Jira. So then you could see your Jira stuff in with your code.
Fair enough.
$5 a month per user. Do you remember when we were talking to Ryan about his little app that he just sort of is having fun with? This reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Watermelon, or Watermelon Tools. It's the Watermelon GitHub plugin. So first off, Visual Studio Code. Secondly, GitHub. Thirdly, if you want to pay for it, to have Jira integration, $5 a month per user.
I would phrase it differently. If you want to have Jira, you should pay.
What? Exactly. Because if you're using Jira for your free stuff, for your side gigs, find a different issue management system, please. Especially if you're using GitHub, just use issues. Where are we
By
at
the way,
here?
have you tried Notion?
I live in Notion, yes.
Oh, okay.
That's how I
Yeah,
manage all the podcast stuff.
killing
Is
it, man.
It's super cool. It's I'm not using it. I wrote specific data. I wrote a specific database to manage all the podcast stuff, which took me like 10 minutes just because
But it almost replaces the whole Atlassian suite in a way, right?
it can, yeah. But then it also integrates with the Atlassian suite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Notion's very cool. I wish I had a lot more time to spend in it. Now, speaking of spending more time here, map, analyze, share, repeat. So this is from AppMap. Plugins for both VS Code and for the JetBrains suite. They have quite a list from IBM all the way down to Mongo. Big list. So basically what it does is it maps where your code is going, so you can follow the flow of your code.
Like
You know
where
what I'm
it's deployed or...
Well, no, how it's actually flowing in your...
one function goes to another function and... Okay, that's nice.
Analyze, so you can do analyzation. Sure, why not? You can share, so you can see how it's built out. And then repeat, because you can put it in CI and get the information. Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby. That's it for today.
Hey, if I would need to
map.
pick one from today, this one would spark the most interest.
Not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Ah.
But so far, this is it. And I agree with you. This is the one that's most interesting to me. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't support Go, so it doesn't help you a lot. But since it supports Java, it makes me happy. And I think I'm true. There might be one more that might make what was the Marie Kondo thing? Spark joy. We're trying to spark joy right now. This one probably not so much. So this is kubelog. It's a Kubernetes log viewer. Windows, Mac, Linux, good. Again, you're thinking, okay, well, I can do this in K9S. Yes, you could. And maybe you should. Not pointing anything out at these guys, but this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Tail pods from different. I like how it aggregates
80s
things.
feel.
Huh?
I thought you would say, I like the 80s feel to it.
Well, yeah, that's true too. This is 80s, early 90s. But I like it. I mean, it's fine. It's the thing about visualization. Metrics don't matter. Let me say it that way. Metrics don't matter. Being able to determine something from metrics is what matters.
Exactly.
And preferably, I would rather be told, "Hey, here's what you need to do." And if you want to drill in to understand why we told you that, here's the drill. Right? That's what I want. I was like, just tell me what to do. Actually, I don't even want you to tell me what to do. I just want you to go do it for me and tell me that you did it and it didn't break. But you got to go through that process first, right? You got to. So I'm wanting that middle suite of, okay, tell me what to do. But anyway, raw log viewers is always fun. So this is kubelog.
I like it. It's kind of, I think it looks like a great tool for a single cluster companies. Right?
Yeah.
The moment you go into kind of like have 10 clusters, you're going to ship it somewhere and all that jazz, right? But,
correct.
Otherwise, it looks cool. I
yeah.
like it.
Currently in open beta, no licenses required. Once beta's over, download it and test it for free, but then you'll have to get a license for commercial use. More than fine. It's going to be 10 to 30 euros one time. Again, if you get value out of it, send somebody 10 euros. Okay, this is the one that I think that might make you go,
Bazooka.
You ready?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is going to be tough.
See.
It's called runme. It's an extension that you can put into VS Code, and you can actually run your README. So if you write your README, let's get down and look at the visualization here. So in this case, normally what you're having to do is, you're writing good READMEs, and you're saying, okay, I need to do export or do a brew install or do all these other things. Right? Mm-hmm. Well, from within VS Code, I can actually execute those things. So it opens up the terminal and does the thing. Okay, you're not happy with this. Okay,
No,
that's fine.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Kind of cool. You know what the first thing that comes to my mind kind of is missing?
What?
Run all with kind of like press enter key for the next block or something like that. And
Well,
there
let's
is
see.
run all over there, I see.
Do you see it?
I just don't know whether it will pause because I do not really want to run all kind of without any pause, but
Right.
yeah, I'm curious. I have to try it. I'm not sure which side of the fence I am, but it did spark interest, man.
Okay. So we still think the other one, the AppMap is the bigger winner for you. But then here's
Again, depends also because AppMap sounds like a really cool thing if it's a single application, right? Once we go into microservices, I have 20 of those. Then I'm not that much. My main concern stops being how one function goes to another function within an application, but more how does that system interoperate. So for certain use cases, very interesting. But the other one also, yeah. Okay. Now you're making me work over the weekend, Darin. I don't like that.
It's your problem, not mine. They also have, sorry, that was rude. There's also a command line for it.
Oh.
See, this should get you one step closer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so you can see.
Yeah. Number of commands. And yeah, man, yeah.
You just have to play with it and see how it works.
If they could combine that with service that will actually read the text that is not a command, I could replace myself completely on conferences.
You
Most
can do
of
that
my
already.
talks are based on a README.
You need to. This is where we need to get Patrick in. Of course, he'll be coming back soon anyway. But have Patrick figure out how to generate your digital twin and have it being driven by a README.
Yeah.
There's something there. And then you had your 3 videos, one on CDK8S. I was actually surprised that you liked it.
I liked it very much. Why were you surprised?
Because you don't like writing code to do these kinds of things.
Wrong. I don't like
Whoa, wait a
not
minute.
having my state in declarative format.
Okay.
So if CDKs would translate directly to Kube API to do something, and I store CDKs exclusively in my Git, I wouldn't like it. But the output is YAML. I still put it in Git. I still use Argo CD and stuff like that. It just helps me write YAML faster in specific cases. In my vast majority of cases, I would not even think about CDKs. But I have some complicated stuff, and then it works well. But the output is still YAML. I still work on YAML. This helps me write faster.
Okay, so there's certain use cases to where it helps you. Okay, fair enough. Then you talked about don't use Docker Compose. Sorry, I'm still using it on a daily basis. But that's my problem, not yours.
Well, all I'm going to say is that I got extraordinary number of angry letters.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not married to it, but it's just due to some other tooling I use, that's how they have it wired up.
It's good. I like angry letters. That means that I'm passionate, you're passionate about something. I like passionate people. That's cool.
I'll get to passionate in just a second for one more thing. And this week was stateful application management.
Yeah, it's kind of like combining a couple of things that I explored apparently in the past.
Yeah. And then yesterday you had over on DevOps Toolkit, you had Jim on from Nirmada talking about Kuvela.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Kyverno.
Sorry. Jim, sorry. There's so many K words that I've said today that have something to do with Kubernetes. No, so what I did this week is I got Rancher Desktop running on my Mac Studio. It's been there, but I haven't had a need to use it. And
did you create alias docker equals nerdcuttle?
No, I didn't. I just typed nerdcuttle because it's easy enough for me to type it because I don't have Docker installed anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me. When I have Docker installed, it's on Vagrant machines that get destroyed every hour or so it doesn't really matter to me. I use Docker in a very strange way. I am staying license legal. I'm running Docker on Linux, not on Mac or on Windows. But anyway, Rancher Desktop on my Mac Studio, gave it 6 cores, 20 gig of RAM, 32 gig box. So I gave it 20 gig of RAM.
You're such a generous person, man.
Well, I had to. The day job this week, or last week, we shipped ARM images. And the previous week we didn't have ARM images, but then we did get ARM images in the past week. I fought with the previous one, could not get it to run. Just having all sorts of, which would make sense, right? It's having to go through, number one, QEMU on a Mac, loading in an AMD-based image. It just didn't work. When those ARM images were available, Thanos level snap. It just worked, and it was freaky fast. Freaky fast. It was amazing.
ARM is the future.
ARM is the present and the future, and I believe it is now, and it has been probably since early part of the year, table stakes.
But in general, right? Kind of like, what's the experience? Studio Bot is the first silicon computer you got, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, I got the Mac Mini too, but that's what we're using here. But the Mac Studio is my primarily daily driver. Primarily use it for video editing. That's what I do a lot. But then, yeah, the Studio is amazing. I am probably going to buy a Studio for my wife. Just because when I looked at getting her, I could get a Mac Mini with 8 gig, but it's like I'm looking at some of the things that she's wanting to do. It's like 16 would probably be better, just because not all the apps she's using are written for Silicon yet. So you got to give that overhead for Rosetta and do all the other things. But so the Mac Studio, the low-end Mac Studio, which is the one I have, on sale, or not refurbed, is $17.99. Still a lot of money. But
that's a hell of a machine, man.
golly.
I would even argue that I dare you to find a better machine for that money. Oh, no, same machine.
Same machine.
Same.
Yeah. I don't know that you... Like, I need to go and buy a Windows machine. I need a Windows machine right now for one specific use case. And I'm trying to be as cheap as possible.
What I've been saying, people, kind of, Mac in general is expensive when you upgrade it. Memory, hard disk, Apple kills you there. But base models of almost everything Apple now is actually very, very well priced. I'm not going to say cheap, but very well priced.
And there may be reasons why you'd want to get more disk just because it's baked in. You can't ever resize it because the inside pipes are 10 gig. Right? If you're doing a ton of video editing, 4K video editing, I probably would have gone with 2 terabytes instead of just the base 512 is what I think is in this one. I would have done that, but I don't do that much video editing. Especially don't do 4K because nobody needs 4K. Not yet.
Even 1 terabyte will... Assuming that you don't keep it there forever.
No,
like
I archive.
When you're finished, you ship it.
I'm glad you brought that up. So I had been cold storaging pretty much every file off to S3. And my bill was getting more and more. Not huge, but I was starting to cross some thresholds. So I moved everything a few weeks ago to Backblaze, which I use Backblaze for backing up machines anyway, just normal machines. But I'm using their B2 service. So I had to pay double my normal AWS bill this past month. But from this point forward, my AWS bill is going to be practically zero. Because I've shifted everything, and it's only going to be $5 a month on Backblaze. And I was paying well over $20 a month, I think, for S3. I mean, it's not huge money, but $15 is $15. I mean, you know, that's a meal for me and my wife at Taco Bell. You know, it's, you know, if you're not backing up to either, but you know, okay, here's the reason why I said that. I went Backblaze because number one, I'm already used to that, and number two, there is an egress fee for Backblaze for B2, but my use case really isn't egress. And if I ever need to egress something out, I'm willing to pay that price. If I was going to be egressing a lot, I'd pay an extra $1 a month to Wasabi and get unlimited egress. It's not unlimited. It's that air quote unlimited, within reason type deal. But that's not my use case. So anyway, remember 321 for backups. I can't remember what 321 stands for, but local copy, offsite, all the stuff. Yeah, do all the things. Okay. You have another show to go to in about 10 minutes. Do you even know what it's about? Yes, great. It's a wonderful thing.
I will ask some questions and I will do my best to answer them.
Unlike here.
I got the questions.
Oh, it's actually like an interview, so you have questions.
Yeah.
Are we strange that we don't do that to our guests?
Huh?
Are we strange that we don't send questions to our guests?
No, maybe I've just assumed that everybody is like me, kind of like if we send the questions, they will not read it. That's why I intentionally said it's in my mailbox. I don't know what they are.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to end up a little bit early today so Viktor can get ready for his next show. We will be back next week, right? We should be fine for next week. The next week is holidays in the U.S., but I don't think I'm doing anything. We'll figure out once we get closer there. But then that next Friday, the first Friday in December, Viktor's off somewhere, so we probably will not be here that day. Podcast again on Wednesdays. By the way, next Thursday. Okay, so let's go through the Wednesday. So Monday you have a video because it's been 2 weeks since we've done this. Monday you have a video out on DevOps Toolkit.
Exactly.
Tuesday is nothing. Wednesday is the podcast, 6 a.m. Eastern. And then Thursday, we have another AMA over on DevOps Toolkit. Unless you change your mind.
I didn't.
So that's the plan unless something changes. And then we'll be back here next Friday. So 4 days with us again next week in some way, shape, or form. For everybody that's been here with us for all this time, and especially today specifically, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great weekend because it is finally the weekend. And I am so ready for the weekend. I still have about 5 hours of writing to do. but it's a good writing. So we'll talk to everybody again next week. Again, have a great weekend.